Well, in the world of boxing, for me, I think it's good time for him to finish the career and to focus on some other sorts of things that he can do in his life.
You have to give everything to beat this man, and he wasn't willing to do it.
Joe Rogan recently slammed Tyson Fury after his defeat to Oleksandr Usyk, and it's tough to dispute his criticism. The rematch on December 21st was a wake-up call for anyone still holding on to the idea that Fury was the undisputed, untouchable heavyweight champion. Usyk didn't just win the fight, he completely outclassed Fury in every
What's next
way.
for me? I'm going home. I'm going home. Having some time off. For sure. You might do, you might not do, who knows? We'll talk about that next year.
Joe Rogan recently offered a sharp critique of Tyson Fury after his loss to Oleksandr Usyk, and it's hard to disagree with his assessment. The December 21st rematch was a harsh reality check for anyone still convinced that Fury was the invincible, undisputed heavyweight champion. Usyk didn't just win, he dominated Fury in every facet of the fight.
Oleksandr Usyk is the true undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, regardless of the fact he got stripped of one of the best
Tyson
belts.
Fury, the self-styled Gypsy King, crafted his career on taunting rivals, belting out songs in the ring, and convincing everyone he was an untouchable boxing icon. He stepped into the ring with the air of a man who couldn't be beaten, poised to crush anyone who stood in his way. However, after the rematch with Oleksandr Usyk on December 21st, that aura of invincibility quickly crumbled. If it didn't, no one would object to the smooth middleweight choice in the first round. However, after the rematch with Oleksandr Usyk on December 21st, that aura of invincibility quickly crumbled. Usyk didn't just claim victory, he secured his place as the undisputed heavyweight champion.
Probably relax, recuperate his mind, and come back to training. He's a great champ. He's a great, absolutely great man, great performer, great fighter.
Usyk, whom Fury had the audacity to call a middleweight, turned Fury's boxing career into a punchline. The weight gain wasn't muscle, it was as if Fury thought cardio was optional. Usyk was sharp and precise, while Fury seemed to rely solely on his size, hoping it would carry him through. Spoiler alert, it didn't. And guess who noticed? Joe Rogan. Rogan didn't just point it out, he roasted Fury like a Thanksgiving turkey. He didn't just say Fury had lost his edge, he practically tore him apart. Rogan called out Fury for being more focused on chasing fame than on boxing. Can anyone really blame him? Fury's been busy hopping on talk shows, taking selfies with fans, and acting like he's starring in a reality TV show.
Tough fight.
Yeah.
That Usyk,
Yeah.
that Usyk guy is talented. He's so talented. He's so small for a heavyweight too.
Meanwhile, Usyk's been putting in the work and racking up victories. Rogan even went as far as saying Fury's heart just isn't in it anymore. The Gypsy King might have lost his crown, and it's probably gathering dust somewhere. The fire's gone, and all that's left is a faint spark. And let's talk numbers. Usyk landed 42% of his punches, while Fury could only manage 28%. At the same time that Fury managed 48%. That's not just a gap, it's like one guy's playing on hard mode and the other's on easy. Fury, who once boasted about his boxing IQ, looked like he didn't even have a backup plan. It was like watching someone hoping their size would somehow bail them out, but when that doesn't work, you end up looking completely out of your depth. So, yeah, Fury didn't just lose the fight, he lost his entire mystique. Usyk didn't just outbox him, he made Fury look like he didn't even belong in the ring. As for Fury's self-proclaimed Gypsy King title, I think we can safely say that crown is up for grabs.
In the world of boxing, for me, I think it's good time for him to finish the career and to focus on some other sorts of things that he can do in his life, because he is a successful man.
Has Tyson Fury hit rock bottom? That's the question everyone's asking. For a man who once declared himself the greatest of all time, this loss is more than just a setback, it's an identity crisis. With Joe Rogan leading the charge of critics, it's clear that Fury's reign as the untouchable Gypsy King might be over. Meanwhile, Usyk sits comfortably on the throne as the undisputed, heavyweight champion. Rogan, never one to hold back, delivered a brutal critique of Fury following his second defeat to Usyk. And when Rogan speaks, people listen. He's not just another armchair critic. His voice carries serious weight in the world of combat sports. His verdict? Tyson Fury has completely lost his edge.
Usyk, guys. Talented. He's so talented. He's so small for a heavyweight.
Rogan didn't sugarcoat his critique. He went straight for Fury's apparent lack of focus and preparation. He brought up what many had been too cautious to address. Fury no longer seems like the driven, ruthless competitor who fought his way back to reclaim heavyweight glory. Instead, Rogan painted a picture of a man more interested in enjoying the spotlight than putting in the hard work at the gym. Rogan says, Rogan fights in Waco. You can't just rely on size, Rogan said, calling out Fury for looking like he was showing up for fame, not for a fight. Then came the knockout punch, a suggestion from boxing experts that Fury's heart might not even be in the sport anymore. It's a shocking claim, but one that makes sense given Fury's recent decline. After dominating Deontay Wilder in their trilogy fight in 2021, Fury seemed untouchable. But, as Rogan pointed out, maintaining that dominance requires hunger, focus, and discipline, qualities Fury seems to have left behind.
Was unpalatable, but it goes with the territory sometimes.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he loses the fight and doesn't see it that way and talks about it, he accepted in the build-up they lost the first fight. Now, for his version of events, he's now...
The distractions surrounding Fury are almost too many to count. From reality TV appearances to singing on stage, he became more of a celebrity than a fighter. Rogan highlighted this obsession with fame, pointing out how it's clearly taken precedence over the hard work of boxing. And let's not forget Fury's infamous comment before his first fight with Usyk, dismissing him as a middleweight. The irony is brutal. The man Fury belittled has now beaten him twice, first in May 2024 by split decision, and again just last week in Riyadh, this time by unanimous decision. Rogan wasn't the only one questioning Fury's mindset, but his words hit harder, coming from someone who truly understands what it takes to succeed in combat sports. This is where we start to see Fury's fragile psyche laid bare, a vulnerability exposed not just by Usyk's punches, but by the fallout from these defeats.
He got a little Christmas gift from them judges. Christmas gift early.
The psychological toll of these defeats is impossible to ignore. Fury has always thrived on being the bigger, louder, and more imposing figure, both physically and mentally, but Usyk has turned that narrative on its head. He's beaten Fury not just in the ring but in the battle of mental toughness, and Rogan didn't miss the chance to highlight that, pointing out how Usyk's composed, clinical approach stands in stark contrast to Fury's chaotic persona. At this point, the focus surrounding Fury is less about his skills and more about whether he can recover from this downward spiral. Rogan's critique wasn't just about the physical decline. It was a deep exploration of the psychological and emotional struggles now weighing on the former champion. Fury, despite all his bravado, now finds himself at a crossroads.
Yeah, he came in with all that weight and fought a fairly safe fight, hoping that he would land the big shot, he would rock Usyk, and then he'd go in for it. You can't just expect Usyk to fall for that kind of trick.
The harshest truth is this. Rogan's comments reflect what many fans and analysts are beginning to believe. Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, may have already reached his peak. The fire that once propelled him to the top of the boxing world now seems like a faint ember, overshadowed by distractions and weighed down by self-doubt. Meanwhile, Usyk stands tall, demonstrating that true greatness comes from discipline, focus, and an unwavering pursuit of excellence. The word greatness comes from discipline, focus, and an unwavering pursuit of excellence. And then there's the uncomfortable question everyone's thinking, but few are willing to ask. Is Tyson Fury done? Boxing insiders who once saw him as untouchable are now whispering that his best days might be behind him. Even Joe Rogan hinted at it, questioning Fury's motivation and his ability to rebound from such high-profile losses. And let's not forget Simon Jordan's brutal assessment. Fury is a man lost in his own mythology. He is a man lost in his own mythology. He is one of the most successful warriors of all time, And let's not forget Simon Jordan's brutal assessment. Fury is a man lost in his own mythology. Ouch.
He's a grand master of boxing. And that was a huge test for Fury mentally more than anything, because that requires you to accept, if this doesn't work, I'm getting knocked out because I'm going to use up all my energy.
On the other hand, Usyk's future seems crystal clear. Whether he continues to fight or chooses to retire, his legacy is already solidified. He's brought something the heavyweight division desperately needed, a fighter who blends skill, humility, and the ability to win under any circumstance. If he decides to step away, his departure would leave a significant void. The division hasn't seen a talent like Usyk in decades, and his absence would be keenly felt. However, as for Fury, his future in boxing feels more uncertain than ever. He can talk about redemption all he wants, but the reality is that the division is shifting beneath him. Usyk has set a new standard, and the real question is whether Fury, or anyone else for that matter, can rise to meet it.
This is technique, like really, really high level technique. But it's rare that someone with that kind of technique gets into the heavyweight division.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back when delivering his final word on this saga. In his eyes, Oleksandr Usyk isn't just the reigning heavyweight champion, he's the new gold standard in boxing. And honestly, can you argue with him? Rogan painted a picture of Usyk as a fighter who doesn't rely on size, brute force, or showmanship, but on something far more powerful: pure, unadulterated skill. So what does this mean for Fury? Can the Gypsy King rise again? Or has Usyk well and truly ended his reign? That's the million-dollar question. Fury's got options, sure. A potential fight with Anthony Joshua, or even a trilogy with Usyk, but let's be honest. The aura around Fury isn't what it used to be. Usyk didn't just take his belts, he took his mystique. So now we turn the question to you. Do you think Fury can reclaim his throne? Or has the Gypsy King been dethroned for good? Is Usyk the dawn of a new era in heavyweight boxing? Or just a brilliant star that will eventually fade? Let us know what you think, because let's be real, this conversation is far from over. You know, our first guest of the Desert Plain Detenders was amazing, and I really want our listeners to be introduced to all the great things that are coming your way.